Good morning, students. Hope all are fine. Had your breakfast? No? Swati, what about you? Hmm? Had your breakfast or not? No energy. All are very okay, good, good. Srividya, okay. Vardhan, will you sit or okay, fine. Okay, children, good, good. Amatul. And I hope everyone started CW. And did I give you your syllabus? Exam syllabus. Did you receive syllabus? Yes, already in the last session I have given, like, see, otherwise you just note it down. Now you are fourth and fifth chapter. Okay, eighth class, fourth and fifth chapter syllabus. Okay, please prepare well. Those who got less marks in the last examination, try to get good mark at least in this exam. Okay, done. Prepare well and write exam. Hmm? Okay, good. Okay, students, in the last session, we have discussed about landlords and tenants under Britishers and about Mughal emperors we have discussed. And in this topic, mainly we are discussing about how they collected revenue or tax from the people. So from Mughal emperors, Mughals, they appointed Zamindars, or later like Britishers took the control, and at the same time they also appointed some zemindars, in the sense mediators we have discussed. Zemindars in the sense like authority appointed a person for collecting tax from the people. Okay, so there means zemindars, under the zemindars army people there to help them, and in such a way they collected tax from the public or people. And two terms you must remember, one is tenant and one is peasant. Two meanings already you know. Tenant in the sense a person occupying land or property rented from landlord. Okay, property rented from landlords generally we call tenants. Tenant we call. Okay, the same way peasant, nothing but a small or poor holders or landholders or poor farmers, generally we call peasant. Okay, so these two terms you must remember. Always you can see when you read the concept, you can see these two terms. If you don't know these terms meanings, so very difficult to understand the concept. Tenant and peasant, two terms. Okay, fine. Okay, so this all we have discussed, and after that we have discussed the consequences. Okay, after that, after appointing Zamindars also created some sort of what we call proper time. They didn't pay the tax to the government. They did some sort of looting or some sort of stealing activities. So Britishers identified it and they removed. Okay, these all topics we will discuss today. All of you please look at the screen. We are going to discuss the textual concept today. I hope everyone ready with your running note. Yes. Chapter 10, landlords and tenant under the British and Nizam. Okay, so the same way, these topics we have discussed in the last session. Let us go through once again, just recall all those. And the Zamindars, in the sense, I have told you the mediators between authority and peasant or tenants. Okay, so here Zamindars also own land on which the laborers worked. This was called their self-cultivated land, or another term you have there, Kakshant we call. So that the person, Zamindars also owned the land on which laborers worked, it seems. And they also gave their land to peasant to cultivate in exchange for either a share of produce or for a fixed rent. So here, either what Zamindar should get back, either the produce, otherwise a rent fixed by the Zamindars. That particular rent must be given to the Zamindar. Okay, so forcibly, otherwise forcibly they collect from the peasant or poor farmers. The same time, we call such landlords as landlords, landowners as landlords, and peasant who cultivate their land as tenant cultivators. Tenant meaning, I have told you what is the meaning of tenant. Like property rented from landlords, generally we call tenants. So tenant cultivators. So these zamindars may give their land for some land to the peasant for cultivation. So that we call tenant actually. So the zamindars had two important roles. So what is the role of zamindars? You just see here two important roles. Already we have discussed in the last session. Collection of land revenue from ordinary peasant and owning land as landlords. See here the role of zamindars. Beginning I have told you the role of zamindars in the sense collecting tax from the people. The same way here they have given collection of land revenue from ordinary people or ordinary peasant or poor farmers and owning land as landlords. Owning land as landlords. Okay, so act as a landlord. And here there were two kinds of peasants. Okay, the poor or poor for two kinds of farmers also or poor people we can see here, poor peasants we can see here. See here, those who were independent land owning cultivators paying land revenue through zamindars and those who were tenant of the landlords. Two cases, tenant of the landlords, tenant meaning I have told you, either they collect rent, they give rent to the zamindars, the same time small like independent land owning cultivators. Okay, so the people, the peasant who has his own land, so generally we call independent land owning cultivators, they are not tenant, so paying land revenue through zamindars, they will give like tax to the zamindar. Zamindar submit to the authority. So this, don't forget, don't confuse there. Two kinds of peasants we can see. The one category, the person who has their own land. Okay, so they used to pay tax to zamindars. The same time tenants, it means rented. Okay, so from landlords they collect land for cultivation and they must pay the rent. Rent in the sense, what do you mean by rent? Room rent, you know. The same way for land also they must give rent to the authority. Okay, so Indian towns and villages had a large number of highly skilled artisans such as weavers there, dyers, mason, metalsmith and carpenters. They were engaged in craft production and services to support agricultural activity. In addition, there were workers providing personal and community service like washer folk, basket makers, barbers, butchers. Butcher, I have told you, the person who engage in like cutting meat. Okay, meat business. So shepherds, rearing sheep or goat and cattle, headers, and of course agricultural workers. Okay, so this many works you can see in that particular time in the society. These artisans and service providers often belong to backward and low caste. Actually, the service who are doing this type of activities, backward caste, you know, it means there is no much priority in the society, because backward low caste people only doing this type of activities. Some of them had small plots of land but mainly got their livelihood from providing services to the farmers and landlords. So only some people, especially in low caste also, some people getting some sort of benefit. Even though, dear students, you all know that in those days, olden days, the low caste members must work under these zamindars, or and their products, whatever they produce, so it's a service. Actually, whatever they produce, it must given to the zamindars, or in the form of tax they must pay to the authority. So this is very crucial, because after independence, lot of changes happen. Even though before, okay, so pre-independence, when we are under the British rules or Nizam or these Mughal emperors, these all the social status. Generally, these all social status, because these people should do hard work for the authority. Now system changes. That's what beginning I have asked you a question. So how today we pay the taxes? Today we pay tax to the government in minimum amount, like government fix a amount based on our property. If you have 1 acre of land, that 1 acres of land revenue enough to pay. And like if it is more than that, and according to it is not a burden for the people. But olden days not like that. Maybe 30% or 50% fixed by the zamindars or the authority. They must pay that. Otherwise, the authority may punish them. Especially like what we call these landlords, or the same way zamindars or British authorities. Okay, so they may punish them or forcibly they collected tax from the, and you have a movie, I think. How many of you watch that movie? I have no idea. Like Bahubali movie. Am I right? How they're collecting money and wealth from the public forcibly, some sort of punishment made there. Okay, to collect money from the public, and forcibly these people may collect tax from, and all the sectors, especially poor people. And so zemindars, mainly the zemindars role is to collect tax from the public and submit to the authority. Okay, children. So here, permanent settlement changes introduced by Britishers. Okay, these topics already we have gone through in the last session. I think Britishers, after Britishers arrival, what changes happen in the tax system? When the Britishers gained control over India, they were keen to increase the land revenue as much as possible to finance their trade and wars. So, what is the aim of the Britishers? British East India Company, already we have discussed in the 1600. Okay, in the year 1600, they established a company or a factory here, British East India Company. Okay, it stands for the trade. Actually, the main aim of this East India Company and all, get maximum resources from our country and export to their own country or trade with any other countries. That is the main aim. Here, the same way as Britishers, after their entry, their main aim is to like get maximum revenue, land revenue as much as possible to finance their trade and wars. This led to the raining of agriculture, rain, spoilage, we can say. Okay, so destroy, many meanings we can. These led to raining of agriculture as farmers could not cultivate land under such conditions. So here you see, when Britishers entered and they implemented some rules and regulations, farmers hesitate that. Farmers not ready to do cultivation. So it may lead to great famine. You have a word famine. It means there is no enough food production, lack of food production, many farmers may die. So that's a type of situation we call famine. Okay, there were great famine which killed millions of people, lack of food. Okay, so the British realized that they needed to have a system of land revenue which would be encourage agriculture. What is the decision you see here? They have later they thought that we have a system, because if we collect if we implement like a revenue or a tax system as their wish, it won't work out, because farmers like not ready to cultivate. Okay, they opposed. Okay, they are not ready. They frankly spoke to them, we are not ready to do agricultural activities. So famine a situation, lack of food grains, millions of people died, it seems. Okay, so proper food, famine a situation, like a lack of food production, many people, like not availability of food, it goes for death of many people. The British realized that they need to have a system of land revenue which would also encourage agriculture, a systematic approach. They were also keen that peasants should till more and more land and grow crops that were in demand in market, especially cash crops that could be exported to England like cotton, indigo, sugarcane, wheat, etc. East India Company officials began to feel that investment in land had to be encouraged and agriculture to be improved. How was this to be done? Let us see. So finally, Britishers realized that they have a proper plan to improve, and a lot of investment we need in the agriculture field helps to the farmers. Okay, they decide to help the farmers and encourage the farmers to cultivate cash crops more, and they send it to England, it seems the same way. Okay, so what are the activities they did to improve these agricultural activities and gain income? Let us see here. See, after 2 decades of debate on the question, the company finally introduced the permanent settlement in 1793 when Cornwallis was the Governor General. A person you have here, Cornwallis. So, company finally introduced a permanent settlement here in 1793 when Cornwallis was the Governor General. According to the terms of the settlement, Zemindars were given the power to collect that revenue agreed upon in auction. Just a auction, nothing but a velampat or something you may say. So, a acceptance from the farmers, like a fixed revenue or fixed amount can be collected from the farmers. Like that, an agreement according to the terms of the settlement, zamindars were given the power to collect revenue agreed upon in auction. Okay, they have some discussion and finally they decided an amount, a fixed amount based on their production. Therefore, it also called zamindari settlement. So started here zamindari settlement. Zamindar's settlement or zamindari settlement, we call this. See, they have to pass on 90% of the amount to the government, retaining 10% as a collection charges. What benefit to the zamindars here? You can see some benefit for zamindars. 10% they can use. But 90% collection, whatever they collected from the public, they should pay to the government. That is a condition. Okay, the amount to be paid was fixed permanently. That is, it was not be increased in future. It was felt that this would ensure a regular flow of revenue into the company and at the same time encourage the zamindar to invest in improving the land. See what benefit they have there, you see. Permanent, it means for long time, daily or monthly, it won't change. A permanent, like what we call tax system, they fix it. So the zamindars also accepted this, and zamindars force compulsory. Zamindars collect the tax and pay to the government. The same way, 10% they also benefited from that. And here you see encourage the zamindar. The zamindars also got encouragement because land improving the land, invest in improving the land, we can say. Okay, so this system introduced by Britishers. And after that, see here, since the revenue demand for the state would not be increased. Yes, the revenue demand for the state would not be increased. The zamindars would benefit from increased production from the land. The zamindars, however, collect more revenue than agreed upon through auction. See here the situation. So zamindars also have told you in the beginning, some like mistakes done by the zamindars. So Britishers later they understood. We will come to that topic. Okay, so they have started collecting more revenue, but exact amount, whatever they gained or collected, it won't reach the government because there they have a condition. Yes or no? So they continuously increase the revenue and charge the cultivators who did not meet the demand. This settlement inadvertently converted all peasants into tenant. So here you see the difference. Peasants, poor small farmers, tenant, rented. Okay, the property rented from landlords. So here what happens in the sense, instead of collecting tax from the people, zamindars, what did they do? They started collecting rent, and the zamindars collected rent rather than revenue from them. See here. Okay, they started collecting rent rather than revenue or tax from them. Since rent collected was much higher than the revenue. Okay, the cultivators could not pay the entire amount, and sometimes what happened? Deserted the land. What do you mean by deserted? People leave a place generally. Deserted. It means left the place and leave. In the long run, the zamindars also suffered and became defaulters. What happened later? When the farmers started leaving the land and escaping from that particular, because they are unable to pay that much amount to the zamindars, they started misusing them. Okay, there is no precondition. They are not following any condition fixed by the government or authority. So under that circumstances, what happens here? Zamindars also, like when they deserted the land, zamindars unable to pay the amount to the defaulters. Defaulters means like failed. Okay, they fail in their work because they are unable to gain the income or collect the tax and pay to the government. Generally, we call defaulters. Okay, especially here, zamindars, they suffered and became defaulters, we can see. And here the result. So when zamindars started collecting more tax, company understood that. Okay, especially British authority understood that zamindars is misusing the farmers. Okay, they are collecting maximum amount, but they are not paying to the government. Some sort of cheating activity is happening there. So under that circumstance, the company officials soon discovered that the zamindars were in fact not investing in the improvement of land. So there is no improvement of land. Farmers started leave their land and move. The revenue that had been fixed was no high, that the zamindars found it difficult to pay it. So here what happened? Zamindars found difficult because government fixed an amount, but zamindar is unable to pay that amount, it seems, because due to this, like zamindar is not concentrating on the peasant or poor farmers, and zamindars is not doing anything for their improvement. So farmers like left their land and move away from there. It led default the payment, or they are unable to pay the amount, especially zamindars unable to get the amount. They are not getting amount and they are not paying to the authority. There were no remission of revenue in times of crops failure and famine. Famine term I have told you, major crop failure goes for death sometimes. And anyone who failed to pay the revenue lost this zamindari. So here see, anyone, like now government started removing the zamindari. So it means the persons who like act like a zamindar, so government now changing them because they are not getting any income or revenue from them. So numerous zamindaris were sold off at auction organized by company. So now this zamindari, what their company is doing, company is giving some other persons through auction who is ready to pay the money on time. This created much instability in the village, and the old zamindars were rapidly replaced by the new one. Okay, government changed and appointed some new persons as a zamindar. They have changed old zamindars because they are unable to pay the tax. They are not doing anything, any like act on the farmers, especially like for their benefit or for the improvement of the land. So under that circumstance, farmers not ready to pay the amount. So zamindars also not like unable to pay the rent to the government, not rent tax to the government. So under that circumstances, government removed zamindars and appointed new persons in that place. The prices of grains in the market rose and cultivation slowly expanded. This meant an increase in income of zamindars, but no gain for the company, as it could not increase the revenue demand that had been fixed permanently. So finally, permanently, they have fixed an amount. So what happens? Zamindars fail to pay the amount. Companies also unable to bear their expenditure. So like some sort of problems arise again. So this is all about the result. Okay, so next here you have, even then the zamindars were not interested in improving the land. Some had lost their land in the early years of the settlement. Others now saw the possibility of earning without the trouble and risk of investment. As long as the zamindars could give out the land to tenant and get rent. So here what happened? Zamindars could give out the land to tenants and get rent. What happened? Actually, tenant in the sense, you know, the people who rented, landlords. Generally we call giving land for cultivation and get the rent. Zamindars also implemented this system here. They were not interested in improving the land. Population was increasing rapidly, and the zamindars could keep evicting peasant and giving the land to new ones. So what happening here, you see, the persons who is, especially peasant, the farmers is not ready, who not ready, not like giving good income to the zamindars. Evict, a term you have here. What is it? Expel someone from the property or send someone from the property. Population was increasing rapidly, and zamindars could keep evicting peasant and giving the land to new ones at higher rents. So here peasant to tenancy, you can see zamindars giving land to some other people because rent is the main income. On the other hand, in the villages, the cultivators found the system extremely oppressive. The rent they paid to the zamindars was high, and their right to the land was insecure. See here, rent they must pay high. The same way they are insecure. There is no security for these farmers or poor peasants. To pay the rent, they had to take loan from moneylenders. And when farmers failed to pay the rent, they were evicted from the land they had cultivated for generation. Here, situation again changed. Okay, to gain more income, zamindars implemented new system here. The farmers who are getting less or unable to pay the revenue or unable to pay the rent, so they will give their land to some other people and collect more rent from them. The same time, like to pay the rent, the farmers depending on some money lenders or some other persons. So that also one more problem they're facing here. Here you see the situation because different strategies there. Like you can see different strategies done by the authority, especially these zemindars, because from authority they have more force. Okay, so especially like Britishers, they have fixed a rent, fixed a tax. So these zemindars must pay that. Uh, Otherwise, they lose their position. So under that circumstances, they are maximum trying to get the rent from the farmers, giving land and collecting rent instead of revenue. Got it? So this is all about the consequences or after that. And here, one more system we have here, Ryotwari system. Ryot means, you know, what is Ryot? Farmer, we can say. Ryot means Indian peasant or farmer. Generally, we call Ryot. Please note down the meaning. Ryot. Ryotwari system is nothing but government started giving like land to the public, especially peasant for cultivation, giving the documentation, especially see here, like up to now we have discussed the farmers work under government, especially zamindars, and zamindar is a mediator. Now government some more changes like implemented. What is that changes? Because government giving free land to the public. Okay, some documentation. With the documentation, government giving the land to the farmers and collecting rent directly from the farmers. System slightly changed. See here, by the early 19th century, many of the company officials were convinced that the system of revenue collection had to be changed again. How could revenue be fixed permanently at a time when the company needed more money to meet its expenses of administration and investment in trade? The districts of Bellary, Anandapur, Kadapa, and Karnoor were ceded. What do you mean by ceded? A term you have here, ceded. What is the meaning? Give up. Okay, these places give up by Nizam government. Okay, Nizam government gave this particular area to the Britishers. See, the district Bellary, Anandapur, Kadapa, Karnoor were ceded to the British by Nizam on account of debt in maintaining the British contingent. Okay, to bear the expenditure of the Britishers, so gave up or gave to the Britishers. Okay, Nizam gave this particular area. Okay, you like gave to the Britishers and asked them to collect tax from this particular area. Got it? What are the places? Remember that Bellary, Anandapur, Kadapa, and Karnool were ceded to the British by Nizam on account of debt in maintaining the British contingent. This area is known as Rayalaseema. Okay, so especially Rayalaseema area gave to the Britishers for, especially here, Thomas Munro was appointed as the principal collector of these districts in November 1800. At that time, these gave up districts were in a complete anarchy. What do you mean by anarchy? You have a term, anarchy. Freely given to without any authority. That means like land given to the farmers. Okay, these particular land ceded districts, these districts, this area given to the farmers, and they were 8 Pailgas, means or petty chiefs or authority, like a person. Pailgas is nothing but military governors appointed by the authority. We can say that Pailgas we call. Okay, or petty chiefs in this area. Okay, some of the Pailgas, they resisted the imposition of British rule. What these Pailgas did? These like gave up districts completely in anarchy. It means on this area for those people. Okay, there is no rules and regulations. So under that circumstances, like 8 Pailgas are there, or the person who appointed by the authority, especially chiefs, we can say military chiefs or petty chiefs, we can say in this area. So they resisted the imposition of British rule and indulged in constant war and looting. So they resisted. They are not ready to pay tax to the British. They opposed. So the same time, Munro first subdued. What is the meaning of subdued? A term you have here, subdued, withdraw or take away. Subdued we call. Subdued the Pailgas it means withdraw the pale gas or that position. The same way disbanded their armed followers. It means their force also withdrawn by Monroe. Okay, British chief. What did he do first? First, like this land free. So like some of the people like pale gas, they are not ready to accept the British proposal. So Monroe, a British officer, what did he do? So he removed all the pale gas and disbanded their armed followers. After restoring law and order, Monroe commenced his work of survey and revenue settlement. So after restoring law or new law and order, what did Monroe do? Commenced his work of survey and revenue settlement. A survey, the land survey, how much like owned by the people, a survey, afterward a permanent revenue settlement. Okay, so this all about Rothwari system and some more content. He realized that there were no zamindars in the South India, like North India. The same time, okay, in the South India also there is no zamindari system. People like living as they wish. Under that circumstances, Britishers, what did they do? They started implementing some sort of zamindars. So the same way, see, instead there were clause knit peasant communities. What do you mean by here? You have a term knit. What is the meaning of knit here? Unit. Okay, they coordinate clause peasant communities means they coordinate all the poor farmers communities. Okay, so and communities in Andhra Pradesh, Tamil country who held the land. Okay, they called everyone. Unit means, you know, like unity. Okay, they called everyone together and cultivated it and paid revenue. Recognizing the importance of peasant, he devised the Rothwari settlement, which was introduced in entire South India and later in West India. Riot means cultivator. I have told you first, right? Riot, cultivator. Rothwari means peasant tenure. Okay, Rothwari means peasant tenure. Conditions used like conditions for land occupation. Generally, we call peasant tenure. Okay, so under that Rothwari system, it was decided to collect revenue from the actual cultivators, owners of the land who either worked on the land themselves or got the land cultivated by others. Under this settlement, the peasant cultivating the land were identified, their field was identified and survey number was given. See what are the system under this Rothwari system? First of all, they identified the land, given like land documents. I have told you in the beginning. Okay, this settlement, peasant cultivating the land were identified, their field was identified, and a survey number was given to every piece of land, fixing the legal ownership. Under Rothwari system, farmers got legal ownership. The yield, price situation, market condition, and crop cultivated was taken into an account of decide the tax per acre. So here in Rothwari system, every farmer got legal land ownership or ownership from the British government. So they can concentrate on that. There is no mediator or someone, because in South India beginning they have given there is no zamindars or anyone to collect tax or something. So under that circumstances, this British authority, they have implemented a new system there. So what is the system? Giving survey number. It means each and every land, they identify the land or land ownership, how much land each and every peasant or tenant have. So based on that, they fixed the tax per acre. Okay, so per acre, how much tax this peasant or the poor farmer should pay to the government, fixed. And he argued that the British government should act as a father figure protecting the riot or farmers. Okay, the British government act who Monroe, and these proved very effective and that year. So a bumper crop and a very good revenue collection. This confirmed that Monroe's approach was right. See, Monroe's this approach is absolutely correct, because here there is no zamindari system. What Monroe did, Monroe gave land ownership, especially he identified the land, he gave a land documents to the farmers, and when he gave that, he got very good income, especially see here, good crop production in that particular time. And the same way, good revenue they collected. Who? Britishers. Yes or no? So farmers happy there. Like previously, these zamindars, what did they do? They collect rent or revenue as they wish. It leads a lot of trouble because farmers not ready to give the tax or revenue. The same time, zamindars also unable to pay the tax to the government and some looting activity. So many things we have discussed. Here, there is no such type of problems. Farmers happy, and Monroe's this system is appreciable. In finally, in conclusion term, they have given here. Okay, so here developmental activities of Britishers. Developmental activities. Okay, many developmental activities in the sense, you know, they started concentrating on these agricultural activities. What are the problems they are facing, especially irrigation facility, we can say. Okay, some areas there is no water. Some British administration believed that it is duty of the government to invest in large scale irrigation work. Large scale irrigation work. This would enable farmers to cultivate land and growing high value crops. Improving irrigation facility. What is the meaning of irrigation facilities? Providing water to the field. For cultivation, generally we call irrigation. This would enable farmers to cultivate land and grow high value cash crops. Okay, so when irrigation improves, farmers easily can cultivate in the land. Okay, so especially the Britishers, what is their aim? They give more importance for cash crops. Okay, what did they give? They give maximum importance for cash crops. And here, due to untiring effort, what is the meaning of untiring? A term you have. What is untired? Not becoming tired or continuous hard work, we can say. Due to continuous hard work efforts of Sir Arthur Cotton and Anicut. What do you mean by Anicut? Is nothing but a check dam. A check dam. Anicut, nothing but a check dams across the river. Generally, we call Anicut. Across the Godavari River, check dams across the Godavari River at Dhavaleswaram was completed in 1849. It brought immediate prosperity to the districts which had suffered acutely from severe famine in 1833. Okay, changed that famine, drought condition caused for crop production. Okay, affected on crop production. So after completing this Anicut or check dam, they got water. Okay, now they started irrigating that land. Okay, so it is like give lot of advantages or benefit to this to the farmers. The same way, Anicut was built over the Krishna River at Vijayawada in 1854, which brought prosperity to the Delta area. Okay, especially Delta area. There are also some check dams generally. Anicut nothing but a check dam across the river. Okay, a dam constructed across the river, generally we call. After 1857, the Kadapa canal was built to bring water to the dry areas of Rayalaseema. Many irrigation facilities. These measures, even though significant, had a very limited impact as they covered only small region. Most part of the country still continue to depend upon the rainfall. The expectation that the reminders and the prosperous riot would invest in small irrigation projects like well and tanks did not materialize or did not come into reality. But anyway, so many developmental activities done by like British authority to improve the agriculture sector. Many adequate or check dams check dams they have constructed and acres of land irrigated through this. So these are the developmental activities done by the British authority. Okay, so developmental activities especially in agricultural sector. Okay, so very important. What are the developmental activities done by the Britishers to improve the agricultural sector? Okay, children, the result that you have here, even in the Rothwari area, the land revenue was fixed at a very high level. Okay, Rothwari system. that result you see here. Even in the Rothbury area, the land revenue was fixed at a very high level. Unlike the Zamindari areas, it was fixed for 20 to 30 years. After the expiry of the tenure of that period of time, the revenue was revised, taking the changed condition into consideration. So changed condition, what condition here they have? Because see here, 10 years, 20 years, same tax fixed by the government. Okay, even Rothbury also. So after the after completion of the term, they have to implement new tax system based on the present condition. The land revenue was so high that in the beginning it had to be collected by force. Soon, however, the price rose faster than the land revenue, and the riot found it more profitable to employ tenants to cultivate their lands and receive rent from them. So what happened here? Soon, however, the price rose faster than the land revenue, and the riot found it more profitable to employ tenants to cultivate their land and receive rent from them. Actually, here instead of this farming like a riot, tenant in the sense rent collection is better than this who found many zemindars. The same way, soon the Rayotwari areas too was full of landlords who rented out their land helpless tenant for very high rents. Okay, so what they meant here, soon the Rothbury areas too was full of landlords who rented. Okay, to very lot of landlords who rented out their land helpless tenant for very high rents. The tenants had to pay rent that was 3 to 7 times more than the land revenue paid by the riot to the government. See how much they have to see. That is, if riot paid rupees 100 as land revenue for a piece of land to the government, he was able to get 300 to 700 from the tenant for the same land. Difference you see. See here, if a farmer paid 100 rupees as a land revenue for a piece of land to the government, he was able to get rupees 300 to 700 from the tenant for the same land. This is the problem of Rothbury system. I have told you, in Rothbury system, government giving their land or land document to the farmers. So when they get the land, what happens? They have to pay the tax, 100 rupees land revenue for a piece of land to the government. But here, if these people, if these farmers give their land as a rent to some other people, rent in the sense like based on some condition, how much monthly, 300 they get, it seems 300 to 700 they get. Which one is benefit for the farmers? 300 to 700 instead of 100 rupees like this hard work and 100 rupees payment and less income. So here without any hard work they may get 300 to 700 from the tenant of the same land. As a result, they were not interested in investing in improving agriculture but only in renting it out higher and higher rates. Almost on the farmers, what they feel, if we give this land for rent, they get more income. They are not concentrating on any agricultural activities. This is one more problem after this Rothbury system. Okay, here result of Rothbury system, the same way after the tenure, what we call settlement of tax system we have discussed in this paragraph. Okay, children, so this all for today. Once again, let me remind you, prepare well for the examination and please write and practice. Suppose read the concept. Sai Vardhan, what happened? Sai Vardhan, please turn on your video. Sai Vardhan, can you hear me? Sai Vardhan, are you there? Yes, do you have any doubts? Sai Vardhan? No, or yes? Okay.
Good morning, dear students. Dear students, your worksheets are ready and it is with your school correspondence. You can approach your school and collect the worksheets. Okay, not only you, your brothers who are studying from nursery to 9th class. All worksheets are available in your respective schools. We have forwarded. You can approach the school. Okay. And another thing is, when you attend FA2 examination, before attending, you please gather your principal's phone number, because there is a field where you need to enter principal's phone number. Okay, so please be ready with that. And now a very important topic in Telugu is going to be shown. All should learn it perfectly. Okay.
ఏంటి ఛందస్సు? ఛందస్సు ఛందస్సు ఏ విధంగా ఉండబోతుంది? ఏ విధంగా నేర్చుకోవాలి? ఛందస్సు అంటే ఏంటి గమనించండి. ఛందస్సు అనగా పద్యం యొక్క లక్షణాలు. ఛందస్సు అనగా పద్యం యొక్క లక్షణాలు. పద్యాలు ఎన్ని రకాలు? మరి పద్యాలు 3 రకాలు. ఒకటి వృత్తాలు, జాతులు, ఉపజాతులు. చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా గమనించండి. ఛందస్సు అంటే ఏంటి? పద్యాల యొక్క లక్షణాలు. ఈ యొక్క పద్యాలు ఎన్ని రకాలు? మరి 3 రకాలు. ఒకటి వృత్తాలు, రెండోది జాతులు, మూడోది ఉపజాతులు. మరి ఈ యొక్క వృత్తాలు ఎన్ని రకాలు? మళ్ళీ 4 రకాలు. ఒకటి చంపకమాల, రెండోది ఉత్పలమాల, మూడోది మత్తేబం, నాలుగోది శార్దులం. మరి జాతులు ఎన్ని రకాలు? జాతులు ఎన్ని రకాలు? జాతి పద్యాలు ఎన్ని? చూడండి, ఇక్కడ సీసం, సీసం, ఆట వెలది, ఆవే, తేట గీతి, తేగి. మరి ఉపజాతులు ఎన్ని రకాలు? ఉపజాతులు ఎన్ని రకాలు? 4 రకాలు. ఒకటి కందం, ద్విపద, కందం, ద్విపద, రగడ, మత్త కోకిల. కందం, ద్విపద, రగడ, మత్త కోకిల. ఓకే, ఇది అవసరం లేదనుకోండి. ఇవి 3, ఇవి 3, ఇవి 4. మొత్తం ఎన్నైనాయి? 10 అయినాయి. అవునా? ఛందస్సు అంటే గమనించండి, పద్యం యొక్క లక్షణాలు. తర్వాత పద్యాలు ఎన్ని రకాలు? 3 రకాలు. ఈ వృత్తాలు మళ్ళీ 4 రకాలు. జాతులు 3 రకాలు. ఉపజాతులు 3 రకాలు. ఈ విధంగా మరి పద్యాలు ఏ విధంగా ఏర్పడతాయి? పద్యాలు మళ్ళీ ఏ విధంగా ఏర్పడతాయి? ఏ విధంగా? కొన్ని గణముల యొక్క కూర్పు, కొన్ని గణములు కలిస్తే పద్యాలు అవుతాయి. కొన్ని గణములు కలిస్తేనే పద్యాలు అవుతాయి. చూడండి, ఇక్కడ కొన్ని గణములు కలవాల, కొన్ని గణములు కలవాల. మరి ఈ గణములు ఎన్ని రకాలు? గురువు, లఘువు. గురువును యుతో సూచిస్తాము, లఘువును ఐతో సూచిస్తాము. చూడండి, చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా మీకు అర్థమయ్యే రీతిలో రాసుకుంటారని నేను భావిస్తున్నాను. అదేవిధంగా మరి ఈ గురువులు, లఘువులు ఎలా ఏర్పడతాయి? ఈ గణములు ఎలా ఏర్పడతాయి? ఇప్పుడు ఈ గురువు, లఘువులు ఎలా ఏర్పడతాయో చూద్దాం. ఇచ్చినటువంటి ఒక పద్యంలో 4 వరుసలు కానీ 6 వరుసలు కానీ 8 వరుసలు కానీ ఉంటాయి. అవునా? ఎస్. ఇప్పుడు ఉదాహరణకు ఒక పద్యం ఉందనుకోండి, ఒకటో పద్యం. ఇది వృత్త పద్యం. పద్యాలు 3 రకాలు అనుకున్నాం కదా. వృత్త పద్యాలు 4. ఈ 4ంటిలో చంపకమాల, ఉత్పలమాల, మత్తేబం, శార్దూలం. ఈ 4ంటిలో ఏదైనా అనుకుందాం. ఇక్కడ ఏదో ఒక పద్యం అనుకుందాం ఇక్కడ. ఓకేనా? ఇక్కడ ప్రతి వరుసలో 2వ లెటర్. టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ తీయండి. ఇప్పుడు మీరు టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ తీయండి. ఫస్ట్ లెసన్లో విద్యార్థులు టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ తీయండి. మొదటి లెసన్లో ఫస్ట్ పోయం అండ్ 7th పోయం. ఫస్ట్ పోయంలో మొదటి వరుసలో 2వ అక్షరం ఏముంది? చెప్పండి. పు ఉంది. 2వ వరుసలో 2వ అక్షరం ఏముంది? పా ఉంది. అవునా? అక్షయ్. 3వ వరుసలో 2వ అక్షరం ఏముంది? పా అనే అక్షరం ఉంది. 4వ వరుసలో 2వ అక్షరం ఏముంది? పా ఉంది. ఇలా ప్రతి వరుసలో 2వ అక్షరం సేమ్ టేబుల్, అదే గుణింతం ఉంటే దానిని ప్రాస అంటాము. ప్రాస అనగా ఏంటి? చరణంలో గాని వాక్యంలో గాని వృత్త పద్యాలలో ప్రతి వరుసలో 2వ అక్షరాన్ని ప్రాస అని అంటాము. ఓకేనా? ఎస్. మరి యతి అంటే ఏంటి? ఇప్పుడు యతి అని అంటే ఏంటి? యతి అనగా ప్రతి వరుసలో మొదటి అక్షరం. ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇదే 7th పోయం తీసుకోండి. ఒరియము భక్తియున్ అనేటటువంటి పద్యం తీసుకోండి. మొదటి అక్షరం ఏముంది? మొదటి వరుసలో ఓ. ఇలా మొదటి అక్షరం మరియు నిర్ణయించినటువంటి అక్షరం. ఎలా? చంపకమాలలో ఒకటవ అక్షరం మరియు 11th లెటర్. ఉత్పలమాలలో ఒకటో అక్షరం 10th లెటర్. మత్తేబంలో ఒకటో అక్షరం 14th లెటర్. శార్దేలులో ఒకటో అక్షరం 13వ అక్షరం. ఇవి సేమ్ అక్షరాలుగా ఉంటాయి. ఇది యతి అంటాము. మొదటి అక్షరం ఏముందో 11th అక్షరం కూడా అదే ఉంటది. ఒకవేళ అదే అక్షరం టేబుల్ ఉంటది, అదే గుణితం కా ఉంటే కా. ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చూడండి, ఇక్కడ 7th పోయంలో మొదటి అక్షరం ఓ ఉంది, ఓ అనే అక్షరం ఉంది. మరి 11th అక్షరం ఏముంది? ఇక్కడ చంపకమాల కాబట్టి 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. నో అనే అక్షరం ఉంది ఇక్కడ. నో 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 అని ఉంది. నో నో ఉంది. ఈ నోలో ఓ అనే అక్షరం ఉంటుంది. ఎలా? మళ్ళీ చెప్తాను చూడండి. అదే విధంగా సెకండ్ వరుసలో ఫస్ట్ అక్షరం ఏముంది? తా అనే అక్షరం ఉంది. మరి 11th అక్షరం ఏముంది? 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. దా అనే అక్షరం ఉంది. ఇలా దా అనే అక్షరము మరియు తా అనే అక్షరం మరియు దా అనే అక్షరం ఈక్వల్ ఎలా అవుతుంది నేను చెబుతాను. ఓకేనా? ఇదే విధంగా ప్రతి పద్యంలో మొదటి అక్షరం నిర్ణయించినటువంటి అక్షరం, నిర్ణయించినటువంటి నంబర్ లెటర్. అంటే చంపకమాల పద్యం అయితే 11వ అక్షరం కరెక్ట్ ఉంటుంది. ఉత్పలమాల అయితే 10వ అక్షరం సమానం ఉంటుంది. మత్తేబం అయితే 14వ అక్షరం ఉంటుంది. శార్తులం అయితే 13వ అక్షరం ఉంటుంది. ఓకేనా? ఈ విధంగా మనము గుర్తుపట్టచ్చు. ఛందస్సులో కొన్ని అంశాలు మనము చూద్దాం. ఇంకా ఒక అక్షరాన్ని విడదీయాలంటే ఎలా? ముందు యతి స్థానం గుర్తుపట్టడానికి కాను ఎలా డివైడ్ చేయాలి? ఒక అక్షరాన్ని ఎలా డివైడ్ చేసి చదవాలి? కానగా కు ప్లస్ ఆ కా. అదే విధంగా కాకు దీర్ఘం ఉందనుకోండి, కు ప్లస్ ఆ. కి ఉందనుకోండి, కు ప్లస్ ఈ. అదే విధంగా కుడి దీర్ఘం ఉందనుకోండి, కు ప్లస్ ఇక్కడ ఈ, ఇక్కడ ఈ. అదే విధంగా కే ఉందనుకోండి, కు ప్లస్ ఏ. కే ఉందనుకోండి, కు ప్లస్ ఏ. ఈ విధంగా టో ఉందనుకోండి, టు ప్లస్ ఓ. అదే విధంగా నో ఉందనుకోండి, ను ప్లస్ ఓ. అదే విధంగా వావ్ ఉందనుకోండి, వు ప్లస్ ఔ. ఇలా అక్షరాలతో ఆటలాడుట అనేటటువంటి కృత్యాన్ని మనం చేయొచ్చు. ఇప్పుడు నీ పేరు ఉందనుకో, అక్షయ్ అనేటటువంటిది ఉంది, లేదా ఆకాష్ లేదా స్వామి అనే పేరు ఉందనుకోండి. చూడండి, ముందుగా పడవ అనేటటువంటిది చూద్దాం. పడవ. పడవ అనే పదాన్ని మనం ఎలా డివైడ్ చేసి చూడాలి ఛందస్సు చేసేటప్పుడు? పు ప్లస్ ఆ ప ప్లస్ డు ప్లస్ ఆ డా. వు ప్లస్ ఆ వా పడవ. చూసావా? ఇప్పుడు అదే విధంగా కంకి క్ ప్లస్ ఆ సున్నా యాజ్ దిస్గా సున్నానే ఉంటుంది. కా ఇది సున్నా ప్లస్ ఖ ప్లస్ ఈ కంకి. చూడండి అయిందా? మరి ఏ విధంగా చూడండి, చక్రం రాయాలి. ఎలా? చు ప్లస్ ఆ ప్లస్ కు ప్లస్ రు ప్లస్ సున్నా. సారీ,
Students, please stay online. Just a minute.
ఓకే, చిన్న విరామానికి క్షమించాలి. ఇలా మీ యొక్క ఉదాహరణ తీసుకున్నట్టయితే చూడండి, చాలా మంది మీ యొక్క పేర్లను రాయడానికి ఆసక్తి చూపుతారు. శివ అనే పేరు చూడండి, శివ, శివ్ ప్లస్ ఈ ప్లస్ వు ప్లస్ ఆ, శివ. ప్రసన్య, ప్రసన్య, ప్రసన్య. చూడండి, ఈ విధంగా మీరు చేయండి, మీ యొక్క పేరును మీరు చేయండి. చూడండి, పు ప్లస్ రు ప్లస్ ఆ, ప్ర. ఈ విధంగా చేయాలి. చూడండి, స్ ప్లస్ ఆ, స. ను ప్లస్ యా వస్తుంది కదా, యు ప్లస్ ఆ. ఈ విధంగా చేయాలి. చేస్తున్నారా విద్యార్థులు? మీ యొక్క పేరు, మీ స్నేహితుల పేర్లు, ఓకేనా? జీషన్ చేస్తున్నావా? రెహాన్ చేస్తున్నారా? సుమ చేసావమ్మా? అభిలాష చేస్తున్నావా? పావని, ప్రీతి చేయండి. ఈ విధంగా మనము డివైడ్ చేసుకోవాలి. ఇలా చేస్తున్నప్పుడు నేను ఇప్పుడు ముందు చెప్పాను కదా, ఓ 11వ అక్షరము ఏముంది? నో అని ఉంది. ఒకటే అవుతుందా? కాదు. అప్పుడు ఓ అక్షరం ఇది యాస్టిస్ గా ఉంటుంది. అచ్చులు హల్లులు మాత్రమే డివైడ్ చేయవచ్చును. నో అను, నో ప్లస్ ఓ, నో. ఇక్కడ ఓ ప్లస్ ఓ, ఓ. సో దీంట్లో ఓ ఉంది, దీంట్లో ఓ ఉంది. ఇది ఓ, దీంట్లో కూడా ఓ ఉంది. అవునా? ఇప్పుడు తా ఉంది, ఇక్కడ మా ఉంది. ఫస్ట్ లెటర్ తా ఉంది, 11th లెటర్ మా ఉంది. సో తు ప్లస్ ఆ, దీంట్లో ఆ ఉంది. ము ప్లస్ ఆ, దీంట్లో ఆ ఉంది. ఈ ఆ ఈక్వల్. ఓకేనా? ఈ విధంగా యతిని గుర్తించే అవకాశం ఉంటుంది. ఓకేనా? అదేవిధంగా ఇప్పుడు మనము చూద్దాం. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, దీంట్లో ఒక సూత్రం ఉంటుంది మనకు. యా, మా, తా, రా, జా, బా, నా, సా, లా, గమ్. సా దగ్గర వా పెట్టుకోండి, నో ప్రాబ్లం. ఈ సా అనేది వా అనేది ఈక్వల్. ఇప్పుడు గురువులు లాగులు మీకు చేయొచ్చా చేయరాదా? ఏది గురువు అవుతుంది, ఏది లఘువు అవుతుంది అనేది మీకు తెలుసా? రెహాన్, పావని తెలుసా? ఎస్, వెరీ గుడ్. పావని చెప్పమ్మా, ఏది లఘువు ఏది గురువు? అన్మ్యూట్ అండ్ టెల్ మీ. యా
సార్, యా లఘువు సార్.
యా ఏమైతుంది?
లఘువు సార్.
లఘు, వెరీ గుడ్. మా
గురువు.
వెరీ గుడ్. నెక్స్ట్
గురువు సార్.
వెరీ గుడ్.
నెక్స్ట్ గురువు సార్.
నెక్స్ట్
లఘువు.
Next.
లఘువు సార్.
నెక్స్ట్
గురువు.
నెక్స్ట్
లఘువు.
నెక్స్ట్
లఘువు.
నెక్స్ట్
లఘువు.
నెక్స్ట్.
లాస్ట్ వన్ గురువు. గురువు.
వెరీ గుడ్ అమ్మా, వెరీ గుడ్ పావని. చాలా బాగా నేర్చుకున్నావు. మీకు చెప్పినటువంటి టీచర్లకు కూడా కృతజ్ఞతలు, అప్రిషియేషన్స్. ఈ విధంగా మనము ఈ యొక్క సూత్రాన్ని మనం గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. యమాతా రాజబాణ సలగం, లగం లేదా వగం అని ఒక అందరూ ఒకసారి అనండి. యమాతా రాజబాణ సలగం అనండి. అభిలాష, నితీష్, యమాతా రాజబాణ సలగం. ఎస్, యమాతా రాజ బాణస వగం. ఇలా ఏ గణం తీసుకున్నా కానీ ఇందులోనే ఉంటాయి అన్ని గణాలు. ఓకేనా? ఇప్పుడు ఒకటో అక్షర గణాలు గా ను గురువు అంటారు, లా ను లఘు అంటారు. ఒకటే అక్షర గణాలు రెండు ఉన్నాయి. మరి రెండు అక్షర గణాలు ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయి? గగ గురువు గురువు, లల లఘువు లఘువు, లగ లఘువు గురువు, గల గురువు లఘువు. మనకి ఇష్టం వచ్చినట్టుగా గురువులను పెట్టుకుంటే కుదరది. పల, తల, మల, లేకపోతే అలా ఇలా మనం పెట్టుకోరాదు. ఓకేనా? తర్వాత మూడు అక్షర గణాలు కూడా మనకు కావాలి. మూడు అక్షర గణాలు కూడా ఉన్నవి. మూడు అక్షర గణాలు ఎన్ని అవి మరి చూడండి. బా, జ, స, బజస, యా, రా, త, మా, నా. ఎలా చేయాలి? ఈ గణం నాకు తెలియదు సార్ అంటే నీకు తెలియకున్నా పర్వాలేదు, మనకి ఇక్కడ ఉన్నాయి కదా గణాలు. యా, మా, తా, రా, జ, బా, నా, సా, లా, గం. ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, లఘువు గురువు, గురువు గురువు, లఘువు గురువు, లఘువు లఘువు, లఘువు గురువు. భగనం కావాలనుకో ఎలా? బా అనే అక్షరం దీంట్లో ఎక్కడ ఉంది చూడండి, ఇక్కడ ఉంది బా అనే అక్షరం. సో అక్కడ నుండి మూడు అక్షరాలలో తీసుకోవాలి. గురువు లఘువు లఘువు, గురువు లఘువు లఘువు. అర్థమవుతుందా భావని? జా తీసుకోవాలనుకోండి, జా ఎక్కడ ఉంది? ఇక్కడ ఉంది. ఇక్కడ నుండి ఇక్కడ మూడు అక్షరాలను మాత్రమే తీసుకోవాలి. సో లఘువు గురువు లఘువు. సా ఉంది చూడండి, సగనం ఇక్కడ ఉంది. సా నుంచి మూడు అక్షరాలు. లఘువు, సారీ, సగనం, లఘువు లఘువు గురువు. మరి యా చూడండి ఎక్కడ ఉంది? ఇక్కడ ఉంది. మూడు అక్షరాలు తీసుకోవాలి. లఘువు గురువు గురువు. రా ఉంది చూడండి ఎక్కడ ఉంది? రా ఇక్కడ ఉంది. ఇక్కడ నుండి ఇక్కడ గురువు లఘువు గురువు. తా ఉంది ఎక్కడ ఉంది? ఇక్కడ తా. ఇక్కడ ఇక్కడ నుండి మూడు అక్షరాలు మాత్రం తీసుకోవాలి. గురువు గురువు లఘువు. మరి మా చూడండి, మా ఇక్కడ నుండి ఇక్కడ దాకా మూడు గురువులే. నా ఉంది ఇక్కడ, మూడు లఘువులే వస్తాయి. లఘువు లఘువు లఘువు. అర్థమైందా? నితీష్, భావని, ప్రదీప్, ఇది చేసే విధానం అర్థమైందా? ఓకే, గుడ్. ఈ విధంగా మనము గణాలను గుర్తించడానికి అవకాశం ఉంటుంది. ఒక సూత్రం గుర్తుంటే అది ఏ గణమైనా, ఎక్కడైనా, ఎప్పుడైనా, ఎగ్జామ్లో అయినా, ఇంటికాడైనా కానీ మనకు ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది. ఇప్పుడు నాలుగు అక్షర గణాలు ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయి మరి? నాలుగు అక్షర గణాలు నల, నగ, సల, అంతే, మూడే. నా అంటే ఏంటి? మూడు లఘువులే. మరి లా అంటే ఏంటిది? లఘువే. సో నాలుగు లఘువులు. మరి నా అంటే ఏంటి? మూడు లఘువులే. మరి గా అంటే ఏంటిది? గురువు. అవునా? ఇక్కడ సా అంటే ఏంటి? సా లఘువు, లఘువు గురువు. లా అంటే ఏంటి? లఘువు. అవునా? ఇక్కడ మరి ఉదాహరణ చెప్పండి. కలములు, కలములు లఘువు, 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 లఘువు. మరి నీ పేరుంది నితీష్, ఏ గణం? లఘువు, గురువు, ఏంటిది? లగా. మరి భవానీ ఉంది, భవానీ లఘువు, గురువు, లఘువు. సో లఘువు, గురువు, లఘువు ఏమైతుంది? జగనం అవుతుంది. ఇక్కడ చూడండి, జగనం. మరి నీ పేరు ఏ గణం? నీకు నచ్చిన దేవుని పేరు ఏం గణం? పాఠశాల అయితే ఏ గణం? పుస్తకము ఏ గణం? సో గణాలతో మీరు ఆటలు ఆడుకోవచ్చును, అవునా? ఈ విధంగా. అదే విధంగా మీరు సూర్యగణాలు కూడా ఉన్నాయి. మళ్ళీ ఇంకా గణాలన్నీ 2 రకాలు. మళ్ళీ గణాలు 2 రకాలు. ఒకటిది సూర్యగణాలు. సూర్యగణాలు 2 రకాలు. నగనం అంటే 3 లఘువులే. రెండోది గల లేదా హగనం. గల అంటే ఏంటిది? గా అంటే గురువు, లా అంటే లఘువు. కథం. రెండోది ఇంద్రగణాలు. ఇంద్రగణాలు నల, నగ, సల, బ, ర, త. బగనం, తగనం, తగనం, రగనం, తగనం. నల్ల అంటే ఏంటి? నా అంటే 3 లఘువులు, లా అంటే లఘువు. నగ అంటే ఏంటి? నా అంటే 3 లఘువులు, గా అంటే గురువు. సల అంటే ఏంటిది? లఘువు, లఘువు, గురువు, లా అంటే లఘువు. భగనం అంటే ఏంటిది? బా అంటే గురువు, లఘువు, లఘువు. ఈ సూత్రం యమతరాజ బానస అనేటటువంటి సూత్రమును మనము తీసుకోవాలి. సరేనా? రగనం అంటే ఏంటిది? గురువు, లఘువు, గురువు. తగనం అంటే ఏంటిది? మరి తగనం అంటే ఏంటిది? గురువు, గురువు, లఘువు. ఈ విధంగా మనము గుర్తించే అవకాశం ఉంటుంది సార్. ఈ విధంగా మీ యొక్క గణాలను నేర్చుకోవడానికి సిద్ధంగా ఉండండి. మీకు నచ్చిన పదాలను చేసుకోండి. ఓకేనా? ఇంతటితోటి ఈరోజు సమాప్తం. మిగిలిన రోజు మనం చూద్దాం. ఓకేనా? ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Okay, dear students, that is the end of the session. All of you, please prepare well for the examination. Okay, take care. Bye.